Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody the Coin Raptor coming at you with another Bitcoin video. And today's video is going to be a little bit short but sweet. So stick with me until the end of the video. I definitely appreciate you guys' support. And I have so many interesting things to show you guys, including what I think could be a possible big catalyst for a Bitcoin move this week. All right, so starting with our Bitcoin chart TA. So Bitcoin, as you can see here, has actually gone through this little formation that I've drawn. You have 72K resistance right here, and as well as the recent uptrend that Bitcoin was on. So Bitcoin right now is kind of broken through this uptrend. I'm going to go ahead and take this out of here for now. Now, one level I want you guys to pay attention to for support for Bitcoin is this 20-day EMA here, this blue line right now, sitting at about where Bitcoin is right now at about 68,700. So look for this line right here. Normally, Bitcoin does not spend a whole lot of time below this line, but it can. And this has actually been some strong support for about the last 2 weeks or so. So if Bitcoin can't find support here, the next level of support is going to be probably at about 67,000 or so. We'll go ahead and pencil this in right here at about 66,000. That's going to be the next major support level for Bitcoin around this area or so. Now, there is a big event basically going on this week, specifically on Wednesday, that Bitcoin can definitely benefit from. Now, what is this event? This event that's going on Wednesday is going to be the consumer price index, right? The CPI readings, all right? So the consumer price index has had a huge impact on the markets, both traditional markets and the crypto markets as well. And if the CPI readings come in below basically where the median forecast is going to be, then we can actually expect Bitcoin to rise off the backs of that, because now the market will think that inflation's under control, and the Fed will be likely to cut rates. So speaking of the Fed is also doing their FOMC that day as well. So Wednesday is going to be a crazy volatile day, both in traditional markets and for crypto as well. This is one thing you guys need to pay attention to here. Wednesday, CPI and FOMC. All right, Thursday, core PPI, and Friday, some Fed governors are going to be speaking. But the main days are going to be Wednesday and Thursday. Now, this is important to Bitcoin. And the reason why this is important to Bitcoin is because Bitcoin is kind of teetering between two opposing forces. You have, obviously, the bears on one side and the bulls on the other side. But Bitcoin is at a precarious situation. It has been so far unable to get past 72,000 resistance. We've seen it go time and time and time again, try to get up past this level and get crushed every single time, while admittedly making a series of higher lows as well. And the reason for that is because the bears have been defending the 72K resistance point, and they've been trying to stop any sort of breakout right here, because as soon as you get past 72K, right after that comes the new all-time high of about 74. So there's not a lot of air past that point. In fact, if we take a look at our Bitcoin liquidation heat maps, we can see exactly what I'm talking about. The liquidity levels right now for Bitcoin are particularly interesting. When you take a look at about 72K, just slightly above that, you have $600 million worth of short liquidity. And then slightly above that, you have $60 million of short liquidity sitting just above that as well. And if you move up just a little bit more here at about 72,600, there's another $600 million worth of short liquidity. So the simple fact here is that if Bitcoin can actually get going, if we can see Bitcoin push above this heavy resistance here, the shorts are going to get crushed. They're going to get creamed, and Bitcoin's going to rocket to retest all-time highs, or else it's going to exceed all-time highs. And it's definitely a possibility this week, as long as CPI comes in lower than expected, okay? There's also a very small possibility that CPI can come in as expected and we can still see a rally. But in order to for sure get the rally, CPI has to come in lower than expectations. And specifically, we're talking about the median forecast being less than 3.4% year over year. All right. So this is the big thing to watch right here. Okay. And Now on the long side, there's also a large amount of long liquidity at 68,700. So Bitcoin is actually below that level, and this chart hasn't updated just yet. So, but we have seen a little bit of long liquidations here, and then below that level, there's actually some more liquidity down in the $68,000 region. So that's our major potential catalyst for the week. Now, another interesting thing that happened this week is that, and I forgot to kind of cover this, but I want to go ahead and get back to it. But there is a man named Craig Wright. He was claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto, and it turns out that in a court, they basically found him as not being Satoshi Nakamoto. And so as a result, they're actually going to go ahead and sentence him, and he's going to be sentenced for lying basically about being Satoshi. He can no longer claim to be the inventor of Bitcoin anymore. So that case has been basically laid to rest at this point. So far, again, we have really no idea of who actually Satoshi was, or if in fact it was a group of people. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the Bitcoin ETFs. So again, Bitcoin ETFs actually saw outflows today, about $35 million. And this is honestly not surprising when you consider the fact that the inflows so far up to this point have been nothing short of just absolutely crazy over the past couple of days. Eventually, you kind of expect that you're going to see some major outflows. And the major outflows, of course, the number one, GBTC, down $40 million of outflows for the day. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the whale balances. So again, keeping an eye on whale balances. They've been mostly static over the past couple of days, but we did see a nice bump on the 8th of June where you went from 256,000 to 264,000. So again, these are whale wallets that have been active in the last 24 hours. They have been adding to their positions still very gradually over the past couple of days, and this is something that I would expect would continue. We will continue to see this as long as Bitcoin is challenging that all-time high. I think we can get a lot of momentum buyers to come in and buy with the anticipation that Bitcoin is going to push past 72K. Now, if we take a look at the exchange reserve continues to show that Bitcoin on exchanges are hitting low and lower levels and lower levels. In fact, if you take a look at the all-time high, you look at the all-time for the charts, Bitcoin has never had fewer Bitcoin on exchanges than it has right now. And this is also something that probably will not change. This trend right here will continue for the foreseeable future. Bitcoin will become more and more scarce on exchanges while there is significant demand, and there is significant demand for Bitcoin currently. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is Bitcoin options. So as usual, we'd like to go ahead and take a look at our end of the month options. So for June 28th, the end of the month, max pain price 55,000. Traders are honestly pretty bearish coming into the month of June. If you take a look at the max pain price, again, it's taking into account all the calls and all the puts, and on top of that, it's giving you this level of 55,000, in which, according to max pain theory, Bitcoin is likely to gravitate towards by the end of the month. And I think this is honestly pretty bearish considering where we've been at the past couple of months. Now, if you go ahead and take a look at just our calls range from 75,000 to, again, about 80,000 or so. Those are the biggest levels of calls. And of course, there's always more calls than puts. Calls 4.5 billion and puts about 2 billion or so. So this is actually larger than I've seen the past couple of months. We have a combined total here of about $6.5 billion worth of Bitcoin options in expiring in June. I'm going to talk about this more as we get closer towards the end of June. But anyways, that's all I've got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about the liquidity levels that I talked about. If you think that it's a possibility that we could actually see CPI come in below expectations and we could see that rally and that massive short squeeze that would take us back to all-time highs. Leave a comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.